One winter's night, as we sat together by the fire, I ventured to suggest to him that as he had finished pasting extracts into his commonplace book, that he might employ the next 2 hours in making our room a little more habitable. He could not deny the justice of my request, so with a rather rueful face he went off to his bedroom, from which he returned presently, pulling a large tin box behind him. This he placed in the middle of the floor, and squatting down upon a stool in front of it, he threw back the lid. I could see that it was already a third full of bundles of paper tied up with red tape into separate packages. "There are cases enough here, Watson," he said, looking at me with mischievous eyes. "I think that if you knew all that I had in this box, you would ask me to pull out some instead of putting others in." "These are all the records of your early work, then?" I asked. "I've often wished that I had notes of those cases." "Yes, my boy. These were all done prematurely before my biographer came to glorify me." He lifted bundle after bundle in a tender, caressing sort of way. "They are not all successes, Watson," said he, "but there are some pretty little problems among them. Here's the record of the Tartleton murders, and the case of Vambury the wine merchant, and the adventure of the old Russian woman, and the singular affair of the aluminium crutch, as well as a full account of Ricoletti, of the club-foot, and his abominable wife. And here, now, this really is something a little recherché." Reginald Musgrave had been to the same college as myself, and I had some slight acquaintance with him. He was not generally popular amongst the undergraduates, though it always seemed to me that what was set down as pride was really an attempt to cover an extreme natural difference. In appearance he was a man of exceedingly aristocratic type, thin, high-nosed, and large eyes, with languid and yet courtly manners. He was indeed a scion of one of the very oldest families in the kingdom, though his branch was a cadet one which had separated from the northern Musgraves some time in the 16th century, and had established itself in western Sussex, where the manor-house of Hurlstone is perhaps the oldest inhabited building in the country. Something of his birthplace seemed to cling to the man, and I never looked at his pale, keen face or the poise of his head without associating him with grey archways and mullioned windows and all the venerable wreckage of a feudal keep. Now and again we drifted into talk, and I can remember that more than once he expressed a keen interest in my methods of observation and inference.